everyone. Welcome. I can see on the list, I've got some regular folks. I just love this. This has been really great. I hope you're enjoying the classes, and thanks for jumping on board. This is going to be a really great class. There's a gentleman by the name of Michael LaFosse. Him and his partner, Richard Alexander, are amazing origami artists. And Michael himself is a master paper maker, and he's got a studio, Origami Studios on the East Coast, where he makes this special paper, which is called Origami Paper, which we have here at Paper Tree. And it's thin, but it's very, very strong, and you could wet fold this paper. It's amazing stuff. People like Robert Lang and Satoshi Kumiya use that paper to because you need something that's thin and very strong. And an advanced technique is actually something called wet folding, where you actually dampen the paper as you fold. This helps keep the layers compressed, and it also helps shape the model, which is really cool. So he is famous, actually known for not only the paper, but for his butterfly designs. So he's got actually a book that we have here, Michael LaFosse's Butterflies. And as he's created these butterflies, he's actually named them for different people in the origami world. And 2 years ago, I get a wonderful email from him right before Christmas saying, "Hey, it's Michael. I hope you're having great holidays. I designed a model for you and your family. So this is the Mihara butterfly." So it's not in any of his books, and but we do have his video, and I'm happy to show you that model today. I really want these classes to be something that's unique, something that's unique, either something that's not in print or some of my designs. And so this is one of them, and I'm really happy to share it with you. So again, the class today is the Mihara butterfly, which is this. Aren't these beautiful? So I was making a note that if you use double-sided paper, solid color, it really comes out nice. I know that some people like to do, pattern and solid, but when you have an intermediate level class, it's much better to use a solid color. Then you can see what you're doing and see what the landmarks are, and it just makes it overall easier. But in this case, you see both sides of the paper. So even if you use standard paper with the white on the back side, I mean, it's beautiful. So this is a great, great, great class. I'm really happy to share it with you. And so go ahead, we're gonna get started. So I'm going to be actually folding both a 10-inch and a 6-inch, just so that you folks can see. If you're folding from a 6-inch, great. Gets a little small at some points, but it's not impossible. And hopefully I'll be able to work you through it, and it's going to be just fine. So what we want to do is start with the color side facing up. So the color that you want most of the butterfly to be, let's see, in this case, red. My paper is red and yellow, and I want this part of the model, most of the model to be red. Okay, so whatever color you want that to be, that is what you want have facing up. And so face up, color side, and then fold it in half into a rectangle. So again, if you're a beginner, or even if you're not a beginner, the thing with this model as we go forward and we're learning an intermediate level model, is that you want to be really accurate. This is where it counts to be accurate. And because when you get into the advanced models, it can get, if you don't have your beginning model folds accurate, it just snowballs, and you just will end up with something that doesn't have a feature that you really wanted. So good idea to just try to be as accurate as possible. So we go ahead and fold this, and then now I want you to rotate the paper. I'll be making a lot of references about making sure that your model is oriented in the fashion that I have here on the screen. So now what we're looking at is the back side of the paper, and the open end is facing you. Okay, so it's down. We're going to take the top flap and we're going to just make a pinch mark on the right side. So I'm taking just the top flap, I'm taking this whole edge, and if you just watch this first before you do it, you're going to line it up with the top, and you're just making a pinch fold right here, and then you're releasing. So the goal is to make a pinch fold just a little bit right here. And I'm going to mark it with a pen. So again, you're taking the bottom edge, bringing it to the top, making just a pinch fold right here by the edge, and then releasing. So you have a pinch mark here. Now we're going to make a second pinch mark, which is taking this edge and bringing it up to that mark that you just made, making sure that your edges are lined up. Make a second pinch fold, just a pinch fold, and then release. So again, you're making the first pinch fold at the halfway point, and then you're taking the edge and you're bringing it up to that halfway point. So you have two pinch marks that you should see like this. So now we are going to use these two marks for the next fold. So what we're doing here is we're taking these two pinch folds and we're lining it up, okay? So if you watch this, I'm lining up, putting the bottom pinch fold on top of the pinch fold, right? The bottom pinch fold on top of the second pinch fold. And then you're going to fold all the way across. And if you just be mindful of keeping these edges lined up so that you have a nice even section going across like this. Okay, now we're going to take the model and turn it over to the other side. And now it's a matter of bringing this edge up to match what we did on the other side. So just kind of bring it up and then line it up with your fold on the other side. Good idea to kind of find where that is. Make sure that the edges are lined up here. And then fold all the way across. So here we go. So now we have this. So you should have the same thing on both sides, right? Okay, now we're going to take the model and we're going to rotate the model. So again, like I said at the beginning of the class, make sure that your paper is oriented the way that you see it on the camera, okay? So we're going to take this corner and it's a simple matter of just bringing this edge up to the top, making a triangle. Like that. And then the same thing for the other side. So go to the other side, take that other triangle and bring it up. Okay, so it should look like this. Okay. So now let's go back to the first triangle here. Go ahead and unfold it. Okay, you should see a crease line that you've created that looks like that. We want to take this bottom edge of the triangle and bring it to that fold that we just created. So it's not this edge, it's the bottom edge. And what we're going to do is fold it up. Watch this first so that you know which direction we're doing. So it's the bottom edge and the crease starts from the bottom of the crease, and so it makes like a little dart, like a paper airplane fold, okay? So it should look just like this. Okay, make sure it's on the bottom here, not on this top part here. Make sure the point starts from the bottom. Okay. And then you're going to take the flap and fold it up back along that first fold. So it should look just like this. So I'll repeat that sequence. You had your triangle fold, you unfold it, take the bottom edge, fold it up to that line, and then close it up on that line. And now we're going to repeat that with the other side. So we want to unfold it. And remember, again, your fold is from the bottom and the point will be towards the bottom. So it's this bottom edge that gets folded up to that crease. And then you're completing it by folding it back to close it up. So you should have these 2 points that look like this. So you should have this. Everyone should have this. The triangle should be pointing down like this. Okay. Turn the model over and we're going to repeat. So again, we want to make our triangles first. So take this and fold your one triangle here. Fold the other triangle. Like this. Unfold. You have your fold line here. This bottom edge meets that fold line that you've created, and then you are going to refold it along that crease. And the same thing for the final triangle. Open it up. Again, the bottom edge goes up to that fold line. And then you are folding it back closed. Okay. Okay. So now everyone's got this. We're going to unfold one layer and just go ahead and rotate the model. Oh, let me bring the camera back up. So you unfolded the model and now you should be looking at this flat side, not the side that we had that we did the work on the triangles. And we're going to take this and fold this in half like that. Oops, let me get on into camera here. And now you're going to take this and you see that center line here? Mm-hmm. We're going to go ahead and take the whole thing and fold it in half right along that line. Okay, give that a good crease. It's real important to make sure that this is creased really well. Okay, so repeating that. So we have this here. We're just folding this in half right along this center line here that you've seen from the previous steps. So now we're folding it like that. So now we're going to do some squash folding. Squash folding is really fun. It kind of gives you a second dimension to this. And because the butterfly is real symmetrical, it's perfect. And we're opening the wings right now. So if you take the top flap, you could kind of move it back and forth. Watch this before you do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the model. Let's rotate the model so that the open end is facing you. Okay, so I have the open end facing down. So it should look like this. Bring it up like this. You see this pocket? To do a squash fold, you have to open up these layers before squashing it. So what I do is I take my finger, just run it along the inside. So watch this before you do it. You're going to pop this until this edge pops open. And then you see this line here? You want to line that up with this center here on the under layers. Bring this down. And then you fold. That's squashing the fold in place. Okay, now repeat that. So you have your model that you folded in half. You bring up the top layer this way and it's got a pocket. So you want to slide your finger into the pocket all the way to the corner till it pops open. And then you are squash folding it, keeping mindful of this top fold should line up with the lower layers here, and then squash it into place so it should look like a triangle. And so now let's turn the model over. Turn the model over. And you're looking at this. Take that top page. And what's really important when you do squash folding is to make sure what I call the spine, which is this here. We want to make sure that that's reinforced. Otherwise, it's really difficult to do a squash fold evenly. So what I want you to do is to take this page and just watch this first before you do it. Take it and just bring it over to the other side. Make sure that the paper on the right side here is flat. you want to identify that center line here. So take this whole thing and flip it over like you're flipping the page of a book, is what I say. Give that a good strong crease. So you should be able to flip this thing back and forth like this, okay? Then you know you've got a good pre-crease going on there. So bring it centered like this, and we're going to do another squash fold. So you want to take your finger and slide it inside. Now you've got to hold these, I think, down, and just make sure that it doesn't pop open. But if you slide your finger in, it'll pop open like this. If this starts to get wacky and flipped around like that, just kind of bring those layers back together and maybe stretch the paper out this way. And then again, make sure that you're open all the way at the top. You're going to squash it down, being mindful of that crease that runs along the top here, and to make sure it lines up with the split in the paper down here, okay? That's your second squash fold. Okay, now we're going to take the model and rotate it. So let's rotate the model. Rotate the model so you're looking this way with the triangle, the opposite color triangle pointing at you. And now we're going to fold this whole thing in half, bringing this point up to this top middle point here. You've got a lot of layers here. So what I recommend you do, and watch this before you do it, is you want to hold this down right here in the middle and then coax the paper in place, because you've got a lot of layers of paper here on either side. You got to get that started, otherwise it doesn't quite work. You have to kind of slowly kind of work the paper and bend it, kind of shape it that way. Then you can make sure you hold this down in place so that you have the halfway point, and bring it to that point there and push down in the middle first, and then you could work your way out. If this starts to wrinkle out here, just reach inside and just kind of flatten the layers, and then you can go ahead and fold it. So you see, even mine has a bunch of wrinkles in here. There are a lot of layers, so you want to make sure that you get get all those layers folded. And it's okay if you've got wrinkles like you see here. I'm going to adjust my camera. So you can see I've got some wrinkles in here, and that's fine. Okay, give that a good strong crease all the way around. And then now just keep it folded like that. And all we're going to do is just take the model and flip it down. And now you've got 2 pages here. We're going to squash fold these guys. Okay. So make sure that the triangle is flat and lift up this top half so that it's straight up like this. Okay. Let's take the right side first. So you want to reach inside, and remember I was saying you want to kind of glide in until you get to the end and it pops open like this. So watch that. It's not a symmetrical squash fold. The squash fold will start. Don't worry about this point here. What we want to worry about is this point up in here, because you're going to squash it so that it stretches, so that it starts at the point. Okay, so I'll repeat that. So when you open up your squash fold, you want to bring this top layer and pull it down so that it starts at this point here. Okay, then fold it, and then continue to fold all the way down. So your squash fold is at an angle that starts up here at the point. And make sure that your flaps behind, those triangle folds that we did at the beginning, is not like this, but it's like that. Okay, so it should look just like this. Okay, make sure that those are in the proper place. And so now let's go ahead and do it on the other side. So here's our pocket. Pop it open. Make sure you pop it all the way open here. And you're going to pull this top layer down so that it starts at this point. It creates this point up here. Okay. Then go ahead and fold that, and then fold it all the way. So it should look just like that. A good idea to take your bone folder and go ahead and go around and make it nice and flat. We're halfway through the model. So now we're going to take the model. Let's rotate it this way. So now you've got the points. Let's get this up. Okay. I'm going to hold it in my hands here. So have your model oriented so that the points are to your left and the bottom points are to the right. And what we're going to do is create a mountain fold right down the middle. A mountain fold is it creates a mountain. It's not a valley fold, it's a mountain fold. So if you watch this, we're just going to fold it in half like that. Okay. So make sure you're folding it in half so that now the body is sticking out. There's your mountain fold. And fold it in half. So the wings should match. These points should match, and these points should match here. Give that a good strong crease. Okay. We want to make a second fold and fold the wings back up. We're going to look at the model this way. And then you want to bring the back wing up. We're going to make a valley fold that starts from the point, the head of the model. And this edge lines up with this point. Okay. So if you watch this, I've got the model like this. I'm bringing the back wing up. I'm rotating the model. And I'm holding this body closed. This edge, we're going to bring, it starts from the head here. And it ends, it goes along right where these two intersect. You see where I made this mark here. So if you watch what I'm doing, we're taking the body and we're making a valley fold that goes from the head and it lines up right at that point where that wing meets this body here. This is what the fold should look like. It should look like this. Okay. So again, you're taking the body, this edge, you're bringing the back wing up, and you're creating a valley fold that starts from the head, and the body goes and meets this intersection right here, like that. And then you're folding it. It's actually, the fold is behind. Then you're taking the wing in front and bringing it up, folding it up to match that. Okay. So again, it should start at the head here, match your wings here, and then fold. It should match right here. We want to open up the wing. Now, do you see this part here on the top? Okay, I got the points here. That's the top of the model. And you see this little section up in here? And what we're going to do right up in here is Michael's designed a tiny little head. So if you watch this before you do it, because I'm right-handed, I'm doing my work this way here. You want to take this flap and you want to fold it, make a mountain fold going behind the model. So if you watch what's happening here, we're folding this back and you have a little part that's right here. Okay. So if you watch this, I'm folding behind. So from behind, it looks like this. And from the top, it looks like this. Now, it's a kind of a two-part fold. So that's the first part there. And then what you want to do is you want to pinch the body here and you want to push in and kind of, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. If you push, okay, so I folded this flat back. This part gets squashed and it's a little tricky. But what I found works really well is after you folded this behind, I'm pinching it here, and you're just going to kind of push this down right here. Just push it down. And then that kind of creates the little head. And you'll see at the end what happens with that. So it's basically one fold and then two fold. You're just kind of pushing that in. I hope you can see that. Even if you don't do this, it still makes a beautiful model. So don't be discouraged. It's fine. Now that we have that in place, we are going to refold the wings how you had it. So, okay, we're refolding it up. So now we should be looking at this. So orient your model. Now we're going to be doing some detail work here at the bottom. If you rotate it, so now that you're looking at this edge here, you have two flaps. What we're going to do is to take both of these corners and these edges, they go in. Now you see that center line that you've got? Taking this edge and we're bringing it to the center line. Like, now there, you got a lot of layers of paper there, so don't be discouraged. So I'm folding it in. So the fold should be from the corner. So it should be pointing out. It's like an airplane fold going towards the outside. Okay. And the same for the other side. So we're bringing that side in. So now that you have those folded in, now go ahead and close up the body. And actually we have one more step. We have to fold the wings back again. So if you look at your model here, okay, so the top of the model is to my left. Here's the bottom of the model. We just folded these guys in here. The fold goes from where the head is here, sorry, let's see, to this point here, kind of like at where the body and the wing meet right here. So we're folding this way. So it's kind of a diagonal fold. Does that make sense? And folding it up, valley fold it up, turn it over, and match the other wing. So make sure you hold that body down and make sure that the tail is tucked in there because that tends to pop open because of a lot of layers. Fold that. Now you got a lot of layers here. And so now you are done. Open it up. There's your Mihara butterfly. Now there's one more thing that you want to do to make it, to really finish off the model, and that is to shape the body. What I do is take like a chopstick, works, a very narrow pen, a pencil, and if you, that last step here, you want to put it underneath, and the goal is to round out the body. So what I do is I put a chopstick underneath here, and then I pinch. If you kind of pinch from the bottom, as you push down, that will shape the body here. It creates, you almost want to create kind of a soft crease on either side here. Let's see. Let me flip it over because I think it's going to be easier to see that. So I put a chopstick underneath. So the goal is to round this out. Okay. So if you open it up, and actually you kind of do like a little bit of a squash fold, right? Like that. And that is your finished Mihara butterfly.